Hey everyone, welcome back to Season 3 of EDM Chatters. Today, we're going to be talking...
Wait, Matt. You just said season 3. I thought we just did season 2 last week.
Don't worry about it. Roll the intro. Before we get into this week's episode, please like and subscribe so you always know when we put out new videos. And if you haven't, go back and watch our last interview with Flux Pavilion. I know you won't regret it. So, Vince, we missed you last week, buddy. What was going on?
Oh man, this January was a whirlwind of stuff, man. I guess I told you about it a few weeks ago, but yeah, man, like the first week back from like the holidays, I came upon a mold infestation at my apartment back where I used to live. So I've since then moved. Thankfully, my cat was safe. She was with me the entire time.
Good.
I'm healthy, but unfortunately, I kind of had to lose. I had to lose everything.
Damn,
Yeah.
that is never fun.
It was a brutal week, dude. Yeah, I basically had to take a whole nother week off just to deal with that whole situation. And yeah, kind of just had to decide to kind of throw everything out. And but luckily, I was able to relocate. Now I'm in the Bay Area.
Yeah, you're farther from me, which is sad.
I'm so far away from the music industry, and yes, I'm so far away, Matt. The distance is.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're I'm glad you're healthy. I'm glad your cat is safe. I would never want anything to happen to Gigi. But yeah, I mean that sucks. But we take the bad with the good. There's nothing that could be as bad as last year was as a whole. So
yeah, man.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see in my webcam, we got like a half finished couch hanging out back
is that
there.
what that is?
We're
Okay.
We're rebuilding, dude. I've been to IKEA so many times already.
We will rebuild it. We will make it stronger.
We can make it a haven to come back to.
We can make it a haven to come back
Yes.
to. Yes. Anyway, I'm glad that's all good, dude. I'm looking forward to seeing your place as soon as it's all, caught up and set up. But, so this past week, Carnage stirred up some opinions on EDM Twitter about not many DJs taking risks ever since Avicii passed away. And in the words of Douglas Adams, author of Hitchhiker's Guide, this made a lot of people very angry. So,
I like
you might have noticed
reference.
before I
like
said...
reference.
Thank you. I worked really hard on that one. You might have noticed before we said Season 3 when Season 2 was just last week. We're switching things up a little bit. Rather than, getting into the consequences of that tweet and what transpired and talking about the news around it, I'd rather talk about, just EDM beef in general because there's been so much of it over the years. So let's first talk about what is EDM Twitter.
Yeah, please teach me, Matt, because I don't really follow the ones we're going to be talking about like today. I haven't really followed them like that closely. I'm aware of it, but so much shit happens on social media. It's hard to just keep up with everything. But
tell me about it. Yeah.
Please inform me, Matt. Like,
okay,
what's gone down?
First let's go over EDM Twitter. So, you understand. So, like, every sort of fandom and community has their own side of Twitter. It's very much like TikTok where, like, the people you interact with sort of end up in your feed more often. So, there's Black Twitter, there's EDM Twitter, there's Emo Twitter, there is...
Video game Twitter.
Definitely video game Twitter, Twitch Twitter, which I can't say 10 times fast. So they all have these like little microcosms of communities within the app, right? And EDM Twitter is made up of the people in the industry, the artists especially, who are very vocal and visible. Then you have like the managers and the agents who sometimes speak out on things. Then you have like the social media managers and the bloggers like myself, and then you also have the fans. And the fans are often the most vocal, even sometimes more than the artists, because if a fan has some kind of take and it catches fire, then it can spread really, really quickly. So this is one of those occasions. This is Carnage saying, this is his tweet, he said, TBH, ever since Tim passed away, there hasn't been any DJs taking risks to push dance music forward. All same shit everywhere. Shit is sad. Guetta and Morton, the only ones trying something new, referring to David Guetta and Morton. So, I mean, this caused a whole thing. Just to go over it really quickly, this caused a whole thing. He ended up on Instagram Live with Subtronics, Pasquale Rotella from Insomniac, and More Kismet, who we've had on our show. Go watch that episode. And basically talking about like innovation in dance music and what people can do to make it better. But we're not going to talk about that. Like that's a conversation for another day. We're going to talk about EDM fucking beef and how it even happens, because a lot of people, and it's almost gotten worse during the pandemic because people have a lot of time on their hands. So this is caused by, one, just an abundance of time, and two, very strong opinions, whether those opinions are valid or not. Sometimes it just matters how loudly you shout, which, for better or worse, is sort of just how the world works. But I mean, okay, so let me take you down memory lane. So
let's do this.
One of the first... No, okay, this is not quite EDM beef, but it involves an EDM artist. So back in 2013, Afrojack versus Eminem. And you're telling me, like, Matt, that's a very weird combination. How did those two ever get in the same sentence? So back at the MTV EMAs in 2013, Will Ferrell, who was in character as Ron Burgundy, the more that I say about this story, it just gets weirder and weirder, asked Eminem his opinion of Afrojack, who was supposedly talking shit about him. And Eminem responded by just saying, "Who?" And that's literally fucking it. And EDM Twitter just sort of took it upon themselves. So Afrojack's social media pages were just littered with people commenting, "Who?" And it just spun out of control. But that was more about a joke, right? So that wasn't so much...
it was like a meme.
Exactly. That wasn't so much EDM beef. If we're talking EDM beef, one of the best examples I can give you is Deadmau5 vs. Marshmello 2016. A delicious vintage. Delicious vintage. Marshmello had just gotten started the year before, and he was playing Ultra this year. So the way the story goes... it started at Ultra 2016 when Marshmello tried to say hi to Deadmau5. He says, I tried saying hi to Deadmau5 at Ultra because I think he's one of the greats, but he just flipped me off and walked away. And none of us really doubted that, because it sort of made sense with Deadmau5's whole persona, the way that he had...
Yeah, that's standard Deadmau5.
Yeah, like none of us were really surprised. We were like...
I feel like at the time.
Yeah, we were just like, oh, okay, that was Deadmau5. And it could have ended there. It could have just ended there. But Deadmau5 actually didn't respond at the time. It took him a couple weeks. But he eventually said, last Ultra I went to, I had that Marshmello dickhead following me around with a bunch of cameras trying to get a rise out of me. For real, full costume and everything, walking around the dressing room yacht. I just flipped him off and hid somewhere else. Then he immediately proceeds to his Twitter to tell everyone I flipped him off. Maybe act like a normal fucking human being. I don't know. So that actually lasted another 2 months until Marshmello tweeted at Deadmau5 asking whether he would play basketball with him. And it seemed like, just, hey, want to play basketball? Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to play basketball? Yeah, sure. No, I'm good. Okay, cool. But no, Deadmau5 came back with, I'm not touching you. So then it went back and forth, and Deadmau5, referenced Marshmello being outed as .com and called him annoying. Deadmau5 went on to call Marshmello's fans like brain dead posse of deaf sheep, and then they would trade a couple more tweets before the end of the year, and then Marshmello inserted a Deadmau5 cameo in his music video for Ritual, and which was like a little uncool because you kind of need someone's permission to use their likeness, but whatever. And then Deadmau5 showed up a Christmas present, a shirt of the Stay Puft guy from Ghostbusters in between two graham crackers with his head falling off. So that was the end of that beef. But that lasted basically like 9 months.
The whole, yeah.
So that was a year long. So that was to say that was entertaining is an understatement. Absolutely. And then there was the whole Matthew Coma versus Zed thing when Coma called out Zed. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that one.
I think we might have even talked about it.
I do remember that.
We might have even talked about it briefly on this show. I think we did, actually. That was back when we were still in the studio in 2019. So.
Yeah, actually. Oh, man, the before times.
The before times. Before, when things were different.
But yes,
But yeah, that was another big...
This was a bummer of a beef.
It was, yeah, because
because what's going on here?
Yeah, that was really that one was just like sad. It wasn't that much entertaining. So I mean, there are different like levels of EDM beef. You could have the entertaining ones, you could have the sad ones where you're like, oh shit, I didn't actually want to know all this about my favorite person. But knowledge is power.
Yeah.
But ignorance is bliss. So find out whether you want to be blissful or powerful, and then just go from there. But
yeah, so what exactly happened with the Matthew Coma VZ one?
It was about like it had to deal with like credit for the song Spectrum. Coma said, it's really sad. It's a really sad truth because I'm extremely proud of the work he and I did together. Unfortunately, my good feelings toward those songs have all but disappeared as they were experienced alongside someone so toxic and self-serving that it occupied the space where any happiness could exist. Which is that is a sentence.
That's pretty heavy.
So then Zed told his side of the story 4 days later, and it's mostly fizzled on social media. But some fans still give Zed holy shit, still give Zed grief. Ugh. Still gives Zed grief over So sometimes whenever Zed posts anything, some people go like, yeah, well, Matthew Coma, and we're like, okay, we get it, but
it's a never ending
thing. Yeah. So I mean, like, having been part of this industry for the past 7 years. Yeah. 7 years this month, buddy. I have seen my fair share of beefs, and they're always at the very least something to like give your day a little bit of attention and just kind of just like, oh, what's going on Twitter today? So.
Yeah, who's throwing hands today?
Exactly. So Carnage was the latest, but I want to open this up to discussion and talk about like why is there beef in the first place?
Let's get into it.
So Vince, what happened to Plur?
Peace, love, unity, respect, dude. I feel like people have asked that question for like the last few years in the history of EDM. I don't know, dude. Yeah, like. You go to a show and there's like a-holes there sometimes. They're being dicks at the show. I don't know why. Maybe they're just drunk.
I mean,
who knows?
That probably has something to do with it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. More than likely. But like most of the time, I don't know. Maybe Plur is just not a thing anymore. Or maybe it's just like the bigger question of like how social media has really affected our psyche in the past several years, where we just want to fight each other in that in that realm for like more so than just like being supportive.
100%.
It's easier for us to just shit on each other than just like be nice.
No, yeah, I mean, so like psychology talks about like the others. So like in essence, like anybody who has a different opinion than you is an other, and is the
The
other,
other,
and
yeah,
is
yeah.
subject to ridicule and lambasting and criticism because their views are different than yours. And that sort of
Yeah, yeah.
defeats the whole purpose of peace, love, unity, and respect, which is what Plur stands for, but it's not really practiced anymore, and it's kind of sad. Like, I never ascribed to like the ethos of Plur. Like, I wasn't like a candy kid. I didn't like make it my goal to like go and make friends at raves. Like, I was there for myself and to listen to the music, but I was at least a nice
Yeah.
guy, you know. And
Yeah.
you know, I think a lot of it has to do with these like little microcosms of fandoms in EDM. I mean, like,
Yeah.
so I'm going to list off a bunch of names, and I don't think that I'm not saying that any of these fandoms would fight with these other fandoms, but you've got the Res
Yeah.
stands, you have the Marshmallow stands, you have the Subtronics stands, you have uh, you have dubstep stands, you have house stands, you have trance stands,
Yeah.
and you have all these different little microcosms and groups in EDM, and at some point they're gonna butt heads, just because like
Mm-hmm.
if you're talking about like if you see somebody on Twitter and they say dubstep is the best genre, someone who likes house or trance is gonna say no, this is the best genre. And that's really all it takes to create
Yeah.
that's really all it takes to create a spark. At least where
Yeah.
fans are concerned.
Most definitely.
So
Definitely. Or they're going to be like, oh, well, you know, Bro Step's only been around for like 10 years or whatever. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, House has been around
yeah, no.
for decades or something
And then you
like
get
that.
into beefs within genres, which are
Oh,
arguably
yeah.
even worse. Because, yeah, you mentioned brostep. Like,
Yeah.
someone in dubstep says, yeah, brostep is better than rhythm. Like, then you have 3 different fandoms in dubstep fucking arguing about that shit. And that's just when it gets out of hand. And then you have artists come into the mix, and maybe, like, some artist gives their opinion about it, and then another artist gives their opinion about it, and that's how it just absolutely snowballs. And, I mean... it takes a while for the person to come in and be like, yeah, I'm being respectful of your opinion. I'm just, you know, having a heated discussion. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Maybe that's just like a ruse to make us think that you actually are. I don't know. But, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. So, on that note, like, what would the best Twitter beefs be? And this sort of leads into another question I have down the road. But, like, we've seen, like, beefs about... So, like, I'm thinking about, like, some artists saying Chipotle is better than Taco Bell. And literally, and that causing a beef. No pun intended. No pun intended.
Really? No.
I didn't mean to.
Don't tell me that, really?
I didn't mean to. No, wait. No, I'm not saying that's actually, well, I mean, that is my opinion.
Oh, okay. I thought you were actually telling me like that's actually happened. 'Cause I
No.
wouldn't put it past you.
I mean,
You know, like, or if somebody was like, like, like the Habit's better than In and Out, fight me, and then you'd have like a cascading like wave of just destruction.
Okay. So
on Twitter
so
or
it's not a
something.
beef, but I just looked up. I just searched Taco Bell, Chipotle, people you follow, and there's this tweet from 2016 from Sean Wasabi. It says Taco Bell is basically Nightcore Chipotle.
Whoa, whoa.
I mean,
That's interesting, but I like that. I see what he's
yeah,
doing
it
there.
kind of makes sense in like a weird,
It does.
abstract sort of way.
Like if you know what Nightcore is, then yeah, you
Dude, okay,
immediately
Speaking
get
of which,
that reference.
I was in the kitchen with my new roommate, and I was listening to one of the tracks on our Good Feels playlist. What is it? It was the it was the Rockefeller Street Nightcore remix, and that remix is really popular because there is a dance that goes along with it that weebs like to do, and both my roommate and I are huge weebs. And so I'm cooking dinner and I'm playing the song, and he just comes out of his room, neither of us saying a fucking word, and we just both look at each other and the drop hits, and we just go bah, 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 bah. We just start fucking doing the dance. Without a fucking word.
Jesus.
And then he just goes back into his room.
Oh,
then he just goes back
God.
into his room, and I keep cooking dinner. And that was the whole interaction. And I was just like, what?
You should have recorded it, dude, and put it on your story.
No, there was no time. It had to be done in the moment. There was no time. But anyway, yeah. So,
dude, the things people argue about on Twitter, man, like
no, sometimes it's the stupidest
like, shit. This is my thing about social media, man. Like, I have my own opinion. Like, if we keep it in like genres and stuff, like, I have my own opinions about different genres and blah blah blah. But I don't know. I can have a conversation with people about them, but I don't have to like shit on like okay, I'm not a house fan, but I'm not gonna like poo poo on anyone who likes house. Like, go ahead, listen to it. I don't care, go for it. Exactly, you're not hurting me, bro. Like, I'll just listen to my bass.
The things that you like,
whatever.
The things that you like music. Have no repercussions on my day-to-day life. Like,
exactly.
Go ahead, like house. I'm gonna like dubstep. Like, the fact that you like house has nothing to do with me. If you go on Twitter and say house is the best genre, I'd be like, hell yeah, bro, get it, enjoy that house. I'm gonna be over here fucking banging my head, but I'm not gonna say like, no, it's not. Like, it's silly. It's silly.
Yeah, but looping back to the Twitter beef that kicked off this whole discussion, like, does Carnage have I don't want to say the right to say, like, DBH, ever since Tim passed away, there hasn't been any DJs taking risks to push dance music forward.
So
like, what do you think about that? I don't listen to Carnage at all, right? I'm just gonna be like, I'm not into his music, so like, whatever. But what?
Carnage doesn't exactly have the greatest track record with sharing his thoughts on Twitter. He doesn't have the best track record. He has said some silly stuff, and some silly stuff on video of him as well. Like, his whole Razer production tutorial was, oh
man, that was a good time. We gotta talk about that on another.
That's still referenced in memes
episode or something. But
no, I mean, like,
really?
Yes, it is. Oh my God. Whenever he says something silly, someone says, "Oh yeah, your opinion is really way more better," or whatever. But anyway, no. So like, Carnage was really good friends with Avicii, and so I mean, if we really want to get into it, so the whole thing was he was talking about his own promo email, and if you're talking about like going through your own promo email as a mainstream artist, you're gonna get mainstream tracks in your submissions. So the fact that he's like hearing a lot of mainstream stuff that isn't like taking risks isn't exactly surprising. And when he said that, everyone was like, well, shit, yeah, of course you're not hearing like, but saying that like no DJs are taking risks,
no one's taking risks,
and then offering up David Guetta and Morton as your prime example, like, excuse me. So it didn't really make much sense because like a lot of blogs put out lists of artists who are doing things and being really creative. And I'd say a lot of the artists that we've had on this show are doing things to push dance music forward. More Kismet has an album coming out. Kismet has an album coming out this year. By the way, More Kismet has an album coming out this year. So stay tuned for that.
Can't wait.
I have heard it. It is fantastic. I just listened to this album from a guy called A Cloudy Sky that is already one of my favorite albums of the year. It is so fucking good. And then,
oh yeah, dude. I listened to that yesterday and this
so good.
This is so good.
So good.
Everyone after watching this episode, you should go look up what is it? Blood rushing like
through.
Sorry, I'm on Blood rushing like current
Yes.
through a power line by a cloudy
Yeah,
sky.
it is a phenomenal album. It's so fucking good.
It's really good.
But
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, whether he was in the right, I don't know. I mean, whether he meant it or not, the discussion ended up happening. So I can't really like
Yeah.
having an uneducated opinion about something can sometimes result in education if you are willing to listen. So I think at the end of the day, that was, it was good. It was good, but
The tweet?
no, I mean, the
tweet?
the result. The result was fine.
Okay.
But like,
yeah.
no, the tweet was bullshit. The tweet was bullshit. But I mean, yeah. So the last thing I want to like sort of talk about is, and this is a prompt for both of us. If we had to come up with the stupidest thing to start a Twitter beef, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot. I
And
don't know
like,
what kind of.
it can be like Taco Bell is better than Chipotle. It can be dogs are better than cats. Like think about like what you would say to get the biggest rise out of people for the most stupid take. Like I'm thinking like earthenware pots
Oh my god.
are better than ceramic. Like that level of stupid.
Just so like, I was thinking of like a sushi
Oh my
themed
God,
one,
okay.
like sushi rolls are real
Oh.
sushi.
Okay.
Nigiri, sushi all the way, baby. Like,
You know what? I actually see that as actually being
like legitimate,
Yes.
like an actual topic somebody
no,
would
like
throw down.
someone would like,
Like
take
you
off
aren't
their
cultured if you only
Yeah,
eat
no, someone-
sushi rolls, bro. Like, what is
excuse
a
me?
dragon roll?
excuse me, you're wrong. Like I will eat sushi rolls until the day I die. Nigiri might be more authentic. But times have changed. Okay?
The most like,
Yes, girl.
yeah.
I
Oh, yeah. You could definitely
Oh,
see that in
100%.
LA or whatever.
It's
Be
like,
"Have-
what? You don't get the salmon from Nobu? It's like, no, bitch. I get the fucking dragon roll. No,
No.
I get the
I get the samurai roll, dude. Like
what?
that.
You don't get
they
the
eat
big
that in
scallop that
Japan,
comes
bro.
in the little foil case, and there's like,
Or like you could take it. You could take it even further. Like I only get cooked rolls or whatever, and then people would be
you
like,
put mayo
"Oh."
on your salmon, and they put a blowtorch over it? That's not salmon, but it's fucking delicious. But it's not real sushi.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I don't care, Becky. Why did that just make me
like,
me so mentally
valley girl.
tired? Even pretending to participate in a faux Twitter beef just made me exhausted.
Now I'm like really hungry for
Oh,
sushi.
I'm getting a
I just wanna-
burrito after this.
I had lunch like 4 hours ago, and I've been lifting like
Yeah,
heavy things
I
into my
haven't-
house. So it's been
Yeah,
it's
I
been a
haven't
day,
eaten anything
guys.
yet today, but that's by choice. I do intermittent fasting, so my
Before we like take this conversation any longer, do we want to start our own Twitter beef with like a past
Oh.
guest? I like
who would be the best person to do that with?
I don't know. I feel like you and Swarm could like throw down about something, or you and
Oh, I could
Blank, like,
beef with blank. I could beef with blank.
Yeah.
Like JP,
Yeah.
if you're watching this, curry isn't good. It's just a bunch of things thrown together in a pot,
Whoa.
and you have to spice it to hell to make it look. And potatoes, bro, potatoes.
I think you're starting a beef with B, Matt. I like curry.
I like
Curry's
curry
so
too.
good.
I like
Are you
curry
guys
too. But the
hearing
point of this was to start a beef, and by God, I know how to push. JP, You have too many fucking plants. Let's go with that. That's the clip.
Oh,
Let's go with that. You have too many plants, good sir. They spread out everywhere to take over the common areas, and I don't like the green. I don't like it. I like to stew in my carbon dioxide.
EDM Chatters.
Recycled air is for plebs.
Started. It has begun, says the guy who lives in LA.
We're better to start things. Am I right? This is the breeding ground for all Twitter beef. And it's not trimmed. It is full fat beef. It is ribeye beef. Okay.
Okay, I think we just killed
that's
that
done.
whole,
That does it for EDM Chatters. I hope you enjoyed our ramblings. Maybe learned a thing or two about the history of EDM beefs. Don't forget to like and comment on this video and subscribe to our channel if you want to hear more exciting EDM content from us. We will see you in the next one. See you later, everybody.
Season 3 has begun. Keep watching, folks.